we're in this place where we've been able to move things quickly and we've made changes. And instead of having data in a central location, maybe some of that data's made its way onto people's laptops so that they can continue to be effective. Maybe some of that data's being shared in SharePoint. Maybe some of that data, instead of being on an online system on Exchange, is now moving to Office 365. Historically, that data was protected using corporate, data protection systems. Is it now? Is it still protected? Is that data still important? Is it still safe? Is it still secure? Is it still protected? There's a lot of assumptions made about data that's in cloud. Those assumptions are it's in cloud, it's protected and it's available. Some of those things are correct, but have you checked? And I think for the majority of people, there's an assumption that we've paid someone some money, my data is made available, we're running in production now, there's an assumption that it's protected. So if something either goes wrong with your data in cloud, who's at fault? Blame doesn't necessarily help you get your data back either. So if something malicious or bad happens, you've still got to protect your own interests as an organisation. Now that your data is moved, now's an opportunity to go back, to circle back, to check to make sure that things are protected and tested in the way that they should. And when you actually look at the T's and C's of large cloud providers and what they are willing to make available, no one actually says 100% guarantee. No one is willing to put a 100% stamp on data availability. There's a lot of best effort this, and yes, these things are protected in such a way that there is no reasonable case that you will lose data. It's the unreasonable situations that we're trying to protect from. You should be spending a disproportionate amount of money on the things that are important versus the things that aren't. So you should be balancing where the money is spent. Because often what we're brought in to do, and when people look at security, they look at perimeter security for everything that's contained within that secure environment, rather than what are the things that are important to you around your crown jewels and how do you make sure that those things are secure and those things are protected. Because the other things, albeit they might be important, but they should be classified differently and potentially treated differently so that you can spend money on the things that are important. The Essential 8 is a set of rules that's been developed primarily for deployment within federal and state government departments. And the corporate world has also started adopting the Essential 8. It's readily available as a set of rules online. Things like patching your operating systems, multi-factor authentication, whitelisting of applications that should be running in your environment. For people with privileged rights and administrative rights, having a separate account to do those administrative things so that things aren't accidentally done. Things like the Essential 8 and good security and data protection foundations are still important, and potentially more important now that we've got a distributed workforce and people are working at home on home-grade internet connections and firewalls.